Welcome back to 1700. You're here with Lachie and Isaac and Nardean, who just performed for us. Nardean, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
That was super fun.
Now we've got the pleasantries out of the way.
Yeah.
No, that was honestly awesome. And speaking of awesome performances, you were just at Splenda in the grass in Byron Bay. How was it?
It was a hell of a time. I'm still tired, and it was like 2 weeks ago, but it was incredible. Like just to be on a stage like that size, I felt like this new level of performance come out. Like suddenly I was like so much louder, and I was like dancing so much more. It was so fun.
Now you're at the 1700 studio, so that's gone even higher.
Even higher,
feeling,
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyone you met there?
Drop some names.
Yeah, drop some names for us.
Come on.
To be honest, I
starstruck.
hung out with the gang the whole time, like as in like my
crew
of friends. Like it was a real bonding time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it was the first time we went on tour together, and like the first time I played with like a full band and a drummer and stuff. So it was like mostly just us hanging out. It was really cool.
That'd been awesome, actually.
Yeah, it was so nice. Yeah.
Are there any bands you went and saw as well? As your gang?
Yeah, I saw Sumper the Great. She was awesome. Like she had such a good setup, and Kendrick, of course.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
He's actually on next week's show. You got into music pretty late, Locke and I were reading this week. Tell us about how that all came about.
Yeah, so I was like 21 or 22, and I was at uni, and I was studying to be an English and drama teacher.
Okay.
And
checks out.
Yeah. So I did always love words and stuff, but I grew up in like a really kind of strict family. And music was never... I remember like being a kid and being in the shower and like singing and pretending there was like heaps of people watching me, but it was just always like almost like a joke, if that makes sense. Like you couldn't actually do that.
It could never happen.
It could never happen. And then I just kind of like one day I just was dating this guy, and he was rapping, and I was like, man, I reckon I could do that.
Yes, I can rhyme.
Yeah, I can rhyme. Like, and apparently I can. So
yeah, well, again, we can vouch for that. You can definitely rhyme. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, did you ever have any real at home? Your music taste for rap orientated when you're a bit younger, or
did your parents get you into rap at all?
No.
Like all our parents do.
No.
Our granny loves Tupac. That's why we're
So I've heard. No, so I remember the first hip hop track that I heard that was like I recognized as hip hop. I would have been like maybe 18 or 19 or something. I was in the car again with like a boyfriend at the time, like, but not the same one. And it was Tupac. It was Never Had a Friend Like Me. And I was like, I remember this feeling of like, whoa, this is awesome, you know, like really falling in love with it. And then for like the next month and a bit, all I listened to was Tupac and Biggie.
And here we are.
And here we are.
I knew they were good for something though.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about your new album, Creatress. It's honestly, Locke and I were listening to it this week. It's so cool. Yes. Really is.
We are very impressed.
What was it like to make? Tell us about it.
It was really fun and really hard and really emotional. And, you know, I saw this pie graph that was like art. It's like art at the top. Not a pie graph, sorry, a Venn diagram.
Nice.
And it's like one circle is crippling self-doubt, and then one circle is absolute narcissism. And then in the middle, where they intersect, is art. So it was like that. It was like really awesome at times, and then at times it was like, what am I doing? I'm terrible.
I thought you were going to say in the middle was Creatress, the album. You just made your own meme.
That's my other job.
Yeah, Venn diagrams. Also, we touched on earlier in the interview previous about your sort of inspirations for music. We know you've got a strong Egyptian heritage. That really comes through this album.
Yeah.
Where did that kind of inspiration come from?
Well, I guess like, cause, you know, as I was saying before, like I had a really strict family. So on the music side of things, like they haven't been the most supportive, but I still like Egyptian culture and Egyptian heritage is so like rich and diverse, and like that music, like sometimes I'll be doing work and I'll just put like these Middle Eastern mixes on it, where it's just like an oud and a violin, and they just play for like 30 minutes. And the feeling it gives me is like, it just makes me go like, oh yes, you know? So I was like, I would love to get that across in the music that I'm making. it just feels like important to me to, you know, because art is a reflection of yourself, like, and that is a big part of who I am.
Carry on that heritage.
Comes across. The sound is so cool, honestly. Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, it was great. The process behind the spoken words in it and how you got through the poetry sort of in the music. Explain how you worked into that. Because a lot of your songs on it are a lot of spoken word and then others are a bit hip-hoppy.
Yeah. So the idea was like, it's funny, like for me, there's a pretty clear distinction between like poem and song.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they're like, they see them all as songs or see them all as poems. But in my mind, it was like, it went, because it tells a story, like a kind of loose, vague story of kind of growing up and realizing that everything you thought was real was like just a load of horse.
Mm-hmm.
Manure.
Yep.
Manure.
What comes out of a horse?
We'll fix that in post.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're live actually.
Edit that out.
Yeah.
So the idea was like, I had some of the songs I had already, but then I wanted, like, I had this idea for a story. And so I used the poems to kind of depict each stage, or like, and each of the two songs kind of represented one part of the story. And then the poem was like, almost like a summary of like, this is what just happened in this part.
So creative.
No, thank you. Well, I am a creatress. Hey. No, I also went to a spoken word residency in Banff in Canada.
Yep.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there monks and stuff there, or like?
No, it was in Canada.
Canadian monks. I'm not going to knock the monk culture in Canada, all right?
Surely there's moose in there.
There were heaps of heaps of moose. I was just about to say meese. There were heaps of moose. Yeah, so I did that, and that was like really good as well. I wrote a lot of the poetry there. Actually, I had already written a lot of poetry, and then I went to Banff, and I saw like the level of poetry,
Right.
and I was like, okay, I'm throwing everything in the bin, and I pretty much started all the poems again.
I mean, it's paid off.
Yeah.
So if people want to see you're in Melbourne tomorrow night at the Horse on Lonsdale Street.
Yep, the Horse Bazaar. I'm playing tomorrow night in Melbourne. There's like a whole lineup full of women.
Perfect.
There's like poets and singers, like other rappers.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome
Sounds
night.
awesome. Make sure you get there. You can go on Nadine's Facebook or our Facebook. It's all there. Nadine, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
You've been
you.
awesome.